Happy midweek, Hebrew Nation. This is Brother Judah Israel, and I have a very, very important message that I'd like to share with the family today. I asked the Ruach to give me something to share with the family earlier this week, and this is what was dropped in my spirit yesterday. So it will be entitled, Esau and you Psalm 83 nations, prepare to drink your cup. That's right. Prepare to drink your cup. We Hebrews had to drink our cup, and we're still drinking it. Our Messiah had a cup that the Most High gave him to drink. So this is a cup from the Most High that our oppressors, the Psalm 83 nations, must drink. And so in this message, family, I'll be sharing that you often hear me say that these people are being led by Satan and these principalities that are leading the world's nations right now. That's exactly what's going on because, naturally, it's just not a natural thing to hate people just because they're not your people. I mean, I find it hard to believe myself, me as an individual, hating somebody just because they're not a Hebrew or hating somebody just because of the color of their skin. That's just not natural for me to do. And so this is supposed to be the sole purpose of why we are at the bottom of all the nations on earth today. But this is the tactic that Satan has used to blind the oppressors that they are using to oppress us. But see, it's a spiritual thing. And Satan knows that when our Messiah comes back to this earth, his chosen people, the 12 tribes of Israel scattered around the world in all nations and islands on this earth, Satan knows that the Messiah will choose us again to be leaders in this world over all nations. So this is why Satan and his principalities and his powers and his rulers, they really hate Yah's chosen people more than they hate anybody else. But don't get me wrong, family. Evil spirits are just evil. The opposite of what our Father is all about. So they hate all people. Pardon me. But especially us chosen people of Yah. And they use the nations to bring this oppression against us. This is exactly what's going on and has been going on for centuries. And I'll show you in this message exactly what I'm talking about. So as always, family, I'd like to say, please keep Yah's 10 commandments found in Exodus chapter 20, verse 1 through 17. Our Messiah says in the book of John, chapter 14, verse 15, if you love me, keep my commandments. There's another scripture that says in 1 John, chapter 2, verse 4, our Messiah says, he that says he know me and keepeth not my commandments is a liar, and the truth is not in him. Pardon me. So I'll be starting out reading, family, out of the book of Matthew, chapter 26. And even our Messiah had a cup to drink that the Most High gave him. He had to drink his cup. So I'll be in, as I said, Matthew chapter 26, verses 39, and then I'll go to 42. So this is Messiah with his disciples. And this is what he said to them in Matthew 26, verse 39. And he went a little further and fell on his face and prayed, saying, this is prior to his, being crucified, being hung on a tree. This is prior to him being hung on a tree. This is what he said. And he went a little further and fell on his face and prayed, saying, O my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as thou wilt. Verse 42 says, he went away again the second time and prayed, saying, O my Father, if this cup may not pass away from me, except I drink, thy will be done. See, our Messiah had to drink his cup. He had to suffer that brutal barrage of blows that they struck him with, beat him, spit on him, put a crown of thorns on his head, beat him to the point where he was probably almost unrecognizable. They really beat him bad before they hung him on that tree. So that was his cup that he had to drink for his people, us Israelites. And sadly, it was our people who lied on him and handed him over to the Romans to be crucified and hung on a tree. So we are still suffering under these curses right now. But I must say that, family, that the Father has turned back to us. He has turned his face back to us by giving us his Ruach. And the Ruach is downloading so much spiritual knowledge. And we, as people of Yah, are doing exactly what he said will happen in the latter days, that he will raise up his people to stand up boldly and tell the world that the Most High is our Elohim, and we are his children, and he is our Elohim. And that, so this is what we are doing, just as he predicted thousands of years ago. So you see men from our Hebrew nation, women from our Hebrew nation, we're speaking this truth to all the world, social media, via social media. Okay, so now the spiritual things are always first, family. Yah spoke this word when he pronounced that we would go under the curses. We will be scattered into all nations upon the face of the earth. He spoke this to our ancestor Moses. And so, like I said, the spiritual is always first. He is a spirit. He spoke it to our ancestor Moses. So his words are spirit. And then they manifested themselves in the natural. Our people were invaded in Israel by the Romans in 70 AD. Many of our people were taken up to Europe as captives, but many of our people escaped and fled into the continent of Africa and migrated all throughout the continent of Africa, all the way to southern parts of Africa, the western coast of Africa, and then centuries later was when the sub-Saharan slave trade started in the 7th century, and it lasted about 17 centuries, ending somewhere around 1960, they said. And then you got some people still say, undercover, that it is still going on to this day. Okay, so, we know that our males who was taken in that slavery, that captivity of the sub-Saharan slave trade, boys started at 9 years old all the way up to the grown men were castrated. The girls and the women were mostly used as sex slaves and servants, like I said, for 17 centuries. And some believe that it is actually going on undercover to this day. Okay, so, and then we know that the transatlantic slave trade started in the 1600s, and we so-called African Americans, who are actually Hebrews, came to this country, started in 1619. And we know that slavery lasted some centuries. Okay, so that was our cup that we had to drink. Slavery is supposed to have ended over here in America in 1865, but our oppression didn't stop. The Ku Klux Klan was formed. They hung many of our people. They murdered many of our people, burned down their homes, burned down their property, the property that certain ones did have. So our oppression continued. So this is why these Psalm 83 nations are under Yah's judgment, and they have a cup that they have to drink, because they went way overboard as far as the punishment, oppression, and suffering, rape, robbery, and stealing from Yah's chosen people than they had supposed to. So they have to pay for what they have done to Yah's people. Okay, so they will have to drink their cup too. We have drank our cup. Our Messiah drank his cup. Now the Psalm 83 nations and Esau, they have a cup that they will have to drink too. And that's what what will be explained in this message here today. So I'll be going over to the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28. See, Yah is fair. His chosen people messed up, so he gave us a cup to drink. Okay? And if you want to read, starting at Deuteronomy chapter 28 from verse 15 to 68, okay, please do. But I'm not going to read all those verses because we as a people, we know about Deuteronomy chapter 28. But if any of the Psalm 83 nations are paying attention to this video, you know, my advice to you would be to read Deuteronomy chapter 28 entirely. The first 14 verses talks about the blessings that our Father had offered his chosen people. And so the 15 to 68 talks about the curses that they would receive if they didn't keep his laws, statutes, and commandments. And of course, our people didn't. So I'm just going to read a few of these curses that we are suffering. Our people had to suffer under, and we're still suffering because I see on social media that they're still lynching our people in southern states. You know, so our oppression continues. But those who are committing those acts, they have a cup to drink. Okay, Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 16 says, "Cursed shalt thou be in the city, cursed shalt thou be in the field." Okay, cursed shall be the fruit of thy body, which means the offspring. Cursed shall be the fruit of thy land. Cursed shall be the increase of thy kind, the flocks of thy sheep. So we suffered all this stuff. You know, Massa, you know, took our Hebrew ancestors' wives and had sex with them when they wanted to. Same thing. Massa's wife took Hebrew men, slaves, and had sex with them whenever she wanted to. So all this was a part of the curses and a part of the cup that our people had to drink. You know, even when slavery ended in 1865 in this country, and don't be mistaken, because our people in those islands in Central America, around that area down there, the West Indies area, Mexico, South America, they all suffered the curses of Deuteronomy chapter 28 from verse 15 to 68. So it wasn't just us Hebrews here in America suffering, you know, and our people suffered in the country of Canada. Our people suffered in those European nations, Asian nations, also in Africa. So we have been drinking our cup for a long time. So I'm just going to read a couple more of these verses in Deuteronomy chapter 28. Okay, verse 25, it says, "The Adonai shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies. Thou shalt go out one way against them and flee 7 ways against them, and shall be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth." So this was spoken thousands of years before he did it. You see, he spoke it when Moses was still alive. But it actually didn't start happening till thousands of years later. That's why I say, you know, these people who have been oppressing Yah's people way more than they were allowed to. See, you know, a lot of them believe that white Jesus is going to save them. That's all you got to do is say Jesus and he forgive you for all your sins. You know, when Yah has a cup for people to drink, you will drink it. You know, white Jesus didn't save us Hebrews from the cup that we had to drink, that the Most High had for us to drink. And white Jesus is not going to save the Psalm 83 nations, nor Esau, from drinking the cup that the Most High has for them to drink. For one thing, he doesn't exist. This white Jesus that they created, he doesn't exist. He's a myth in their minds. And we went for it for a while, but thanks to our Father in these last days that he's waking us up. He's turned back to us. He's giving us his Ruach, and the Ruach is just downloading so much spiritual knowledge about the word of Yah. And this is what his people are sharing around the world, just as he predicted we would. So to Yah be the glory. Okay, so that's all I'm going to read in Deuteronomy chapter CH28, because we know that the Hebrews have been suffering under these curses for centuries. Okay, so this message here, Esau and you Psalm 83 nations, prepare to drink your cup. Okay, family, now I'll be going over to the book of Ephesians, because this is spiritual. This is all spiritual. The enemies of darkness, these rulers and principalities, are using these Psalm 83 nations to oppress Yah's people even to this very day. Okay, so our Father's word advises us this in Ephesians chapter 6, verses 10 to 13. It says, "Finally, my brethren," talking to his people, "be strong in the Adonai and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of Elohim, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against the principalities and powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." Okay, the first rank of Satan's army, it says, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities. That's the highest rank under Satan in his kingdom. Okay, that's the highest rank, principalities. Then against powers, and then rulers. Okay, and then the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. They are highly organized. And see, the Psalm 83 nations are the nations that are leading this world. Okay, but some of them in the elite positions high up, they are aware of Satan is the one leading this world. Okay, so by the Psalm 83 nations leading the world, these nations are who Satan and the principalities and powers and rulers are working through to oppress Yah's people around the world. Okay, those Psalm 83 nations are being moved by Satan and principalities and rulers and spiritual wickedness that sits in high places. So family, on every level while we are in this world, be aware. See, the enemy is spiritual in nature, and they're so easily able to influence the Psalm 83 nations in their thoughts, in their minds, because they are all, the biggest thing that they're concerned about is stuff, material, being rulers in the world. They have an obsession with it. Like what, what's his name? Alexander the Great did, went conquering, around the world, being moved by principalities. Okay. But anyway, this is what these people are being influenced by in their mind, because it's not natural to just hate people just because they don't look like you, unless you're being moved in your mind by something very, very wicked and demonic. And that's exactly what's going on. How they can kill us without a heartbeat. They're being moved by evil spirits, family. That's exactly what's going on. Okay, so we know that the battle is not of flesh and blood, family. So please, these demons, they think they're smart. They use our oppressors in these Psalm 83 nations to come at us. But don't fall for the okie doke. We got to keep walking in the spirit, because their aim is to get Yah's chosen people off their circle, off their balance, off their rock. That's their aim, is to get us to misbehave. And they'll use people from these Psalm 83 nations to do it. Okay, and they'll actually try to use us against each other. And a lot of times they had success at that. It's because a lot of our people, Yah's chosen people, are not walking in the spirit. Don't have the Ruach. Everybody's in the carnal nature. This is how evil spirits can influence people in their minds. That's exactly what's going on. Okay, but you have to be wise. Walk in the spirit. And don't be moved by this carnal stuff. This is what moves these people in this world. Stuff, property and big homes and, just having more, trying to keep up with the Joneses. This is where the enemy operates at in the minds of people who carry on like this. So don't never be in competition with anybody about anything, family, because if you do allow yourself to go there, you're being used. You're playing the game. You're playing Satan's game, and you can't beat him at his game. Yah's advice for his people is to put on the whole armor of Elohim, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. What are the wiles? The thoughts, the suggestions, the ideas, the vain imaginations that evil spirits can put in your minds. We have to stand against them, and we have to keep on our whole armor. Okay, family, this is our advice from our Father. Wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of Elohim, that you may be able to stand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girded about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, your legs shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Always move and operate in peace, family. This is part of the armor of God. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. And take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of Elohim. This is how we fight spiritual warfare in this world. Praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching therefore with all perseverance and supplication for all saints. Okay, family, we're in spiritual warfare. Okay, now let me show you something in Scripture. What our ancestor Daniel, a Hebrew, was going through. Daniel chapter 10, I'll be reading verse 12 and 14 first. It says, Then said he unto me, Fear not, Daniel, for from the first day that thou didst set thine heart to understand and to chasten thyself before thy Elohim, thy words were heard. And I am come for thy words. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia, the prince of the kingdom of Persia, a demonic demon, high rank, a prince, but the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 21 days, 3 weeks. But lo, Michael, the archangel Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me, and I remained there with the kings of Persia. Gabriel was telling them he remained there with the kings of Persia. Okay, now I am come to make thee understand what shall befall thy people in the latter days, for yet the visions is for many days. Even our ancestors way back then during the biblical days was being harassed by evil spirits. And this is what is going on today. This is why we suffer so much oppression around the world today. But if we're not walking in the Spirit and keeping on the whole armor of Yah, a lot of us become victims to these evil spirits as they work in other people. Okay? Please understand, family. But you got to be wise and keep on the whole armor of God. Okay, verses 19 to 20. And said, O man, greatly beloved, fear not. Peace be unto thee. Be strong, yea, be strong. And when he had spoken unto me, I was strengthened and said, Let my Lord speak, for thou hast strengthened me. Then said he, Knowest thou wherefore I come unto thee? And now will I return to fight with the prince of Persia. And when I am gone forth, lo, the prince of Grecia shall come. So all over the world, over all nations, are these prince demons, principalities, powers, rulers, spiritual wickedness that sits in high places. They are working in the leaders in these countries. This is exactly what's going on, family. And they keep Yah's people at the bottom. Don't nobody in the world get treated like we do, because these evil spirits and Satan know that we are Yah's chosen people. That's why you hear about us being lynched around this wicked nation of America in so many different states. But you never hear about people of other nationalities being murdered like this. Only Israel. And actually, the blood of our Messiah is still on us because our people are the ones handing him over to the Romans to be crucified. Lied on him. So we are still, suffering from under the curses of what happened to our ancestors, of what happened to our Messiah. And our ancestors are the one that said, let his blood be on us and on our children. But as I said, things in the spirit happen first because our Father is showing us that he has turned his face back to us and he is downloading so much spiritual information to his people all around the world. We know who we are. We know that he is our Father. We are his people, the 12 tribes of Israel, scattered around the world in all nations and islands. So he's come back to us and he's downloading spiritual knowledge to us first. The physical stuff will come later. Okay? Everything is always going on in the spirit realm first. Even sin started in the spirit realm and it manifested itself in the natural realm afterwards. Sin started in heaven when Lucifer rebelled against the Most High. And him and those angels that he was able to influence to think like him was cast down by Michael and the good angels to this earth. And then after a while, while this spirit of Satan was in the garden of God, Eden, he was allowed to tempt Adam and Eve. And he being the wisest of all the angels, so he pondered how can he bring mankind down that Yah had created to rule the world. So he saw that man's weakness was his woman. And so when Adam was way away, he deceived his wife. And he was able to bring mankind down with the first two people on this earth. And so now he has rulership. Adam and Eve handed over their rulership to Satan, and he still has it. Our Messiah came and took the keys of hell and death from Satan and went back to the Father. So he has shown us a way to escape by keeping on the armor of Yah, pleading his blood, the blood of Yahusha, Hamashiach, okay, when we are under spiritual attack. Okay, so, but Satan, he's not going to lay down. Him and his principalities and powers and rulers, they're still here over these nations, ruling these Psalm 83 nations in the world. Okay, but Yah is still in control because he is allowing them to do these things because it's all leading to the great day of Elohim Almighty when he sends his Messiah, his only begotten Son, back to redeem Israel from under these curses in this world. So a whole lot is going on, but our Father is still in control. He is allowing Satan and these principalities and powers and rulers to do these things in the world. But his advice to us in Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12, family, keep on your whole armor, that we might withstand the wiles of the devil. So this is his advice to his people. Okay, but we are not controlled by principalities and rulers and powers because we are not running the nations. The Psalm 83 nations and Esau, they are running these nations. So these principalities and powers and rulers, spirits are working through them to oppress God's chosen people. Okay, so from here I'll be moving on, family, to Matthew chapter 20. Okay, and it says here, now our Messiah is talking to his disciples. They was asking questions, well, who's going to be the greatest in the kingdom? Something like that. But here in Matthew chapter 20, verse 25, our Messiah says this, 25 and 26. But Yahusha called them unto him and said, ye know that the princes of the Gentiles exercise dominion over them, and they that are great exercise authority upon them. This is him telling his disciples then. I don't know if they caught it because they didn't have the Spirit then, but I'm sure it came to them later when he sent them the Ruach. They probably didn't register to them then what he was saying to them. Okay, but he said to them, ye know that the princes, he's talking about these evil spirits of the Gentiles, exercise dominion over them. That's exactly what's going on. And they that are great exercise authority upon them. Okay, now this is what he says about us. But it shall not be so among you. But whosoever will be great among you, let him be your minister. but it shall not be so among you. You know why? Because our people are not ruling the nations in the world. The Gentiles are, and Esau. That's why these principality, evil spirits are working through them. Okay, family, so please understand, this is spiritual warfare. It's not about the color of our skin, why we're hated and kept at the bottom of all other people on earth. It's because evil spirits and Satan know that we're Yah's chosen people, and they use the other nations to oppress us, because he knows that we will take his place as leaders on this earth when our Messiah returns. That's exactly what's going on. That's exactly why we are so oppressed so much in this world. Now, here's some scriptures to remind the Psalm 83 nations that our Father, the Most High, has a cup for them to drink. I'll be starting the book of Obadiah and verse 2 to 5 first. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. Thou that dwellest in the cliffs of the rocks, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Thou had exalted thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Adonai. Okay, verse 5. If these came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? Okay, verses 8 to 21, it says here. Shall I not in that day, saith the Adonai, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mounts of Esau? And thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed, to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. What he has done to his brother Jacob, the 12 tribes of Israel. That's Esau. But they're not the only ones who are going to drink this cup, as I keep reading. Verse 11. And that day thou stoodest on the other side, and the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces and foreigners entered into his gates, and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was one of them. But thou should not have looked on the day of thy brother, and the day that he became a stranger, neither should thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction, neither should thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. Thou shalt not have entered into the gates of my people in the day of their calamity. Yea, thou shalt not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. Neither should thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those of his that did escape. Neither should thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of distress. But catch this, family. For the day of the Adonai is near upon all the heathen, all the nations. That's what heathen mean. Nations, all the nations. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall be returned upon thine own head. All the nations, what they have done to his chosen people, Israel. For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen, all the nations, drink continually. Yea, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, as they shall be, as though they had not been. They shall drink all what he have coming for them, and they shall swallow it all down. So it ain't no escaping. It ain't no escaping this. You can pray all you see, it's already written. They can pray all they want. We have to drink our cup. Our Messiah had to drink his cup that the Most High gave him. We have to drink our cup, still drinking it. Because we're still under these curses. They're still lynching our people. We're still being oppressed. We're still being discriminated against. Yes, we're rich with the knowledge that the Father has given us through the Ruach, yes. But the physical things will come later. Okay, so we just have to hold on, family. Hang in there, just like it says in a passage that our ancestors are under the altar praying to the Father, asking him, how long, O Lord, how long, O Adonai, must we, not be avenged by those on the earth, and he's saying so many more of our people have to lose their lives before he come to avenge us for all our suffering that we had to endure. Okay, so this is the cup that he has for Esau and the Psalm 83 nations to drink. Verse 17 says, but upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance. That's us, Israel. Zion is Jerusalem. And there shall be holiness. And the house of Jacob, 12 tribes of Israel, shall possess their possessions. Everything they stole from our people when they raided Israel in 70 AD, the gold, the silver, they still got it in the world. We're getting all that back. Plus everything else that's, good enough to be taken. And the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. So this is when we're going to get our reparations. I truly believe that our Father, through our Messiah, is not going to allow, I truly believe personally, that he's not going to allow the nations to give us reparations, because they're not going to nearly, give us what we deserve, what they owe. So the Most High know what they owe. So just cutting a check ain't going to get it. A lot of innocent blood was shedded in this land. And according to the book of Numbers, in order for lands to be cleansed, the blood of those who shedded the blood, their blood must be shedded in order for the lands to be cleansed. So, I think our Father is going to wait till he send the Messiah back before we, be reimbursed everything that was taken from us. Not only gold and silver, but the blood that was shed of our relatives innocently, that has to be paid too. And the Most High is going to do that by sending our Messiah back to avenge all that we lost. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Adonai hath spoken it. And they of the south shall possess the mount of Esau, and they of the plain, the Philistines, and they shall possess the fields of Ephraim and the fields of Samaria, and Benjamin shall possess Gilead, and the captivity of this host of the children of Israel shall possess that of the Canaanites even unto Zarephath, and the captivity of Jerusalem, which is in Sepharad, shall possess the cities of the south. And Savior shall come up on Mount Zion to judge the mount of Esau, and the kingdom shall be the Adonai's. Okay, family, now I'll be going into the book of the Apocrypha. Okay, this is a scripture this should have been the first one here. When, John chapter 18, verse 11, it says, then said Yahushua unto Peter, put up thy sword. This is when they was trying to arrest our Messiah. And he told Peter, put up thy sword into the sheath. The cup which my Father hath given me, shall I not drink it? So, Peter and them didn't know about the cup that our Messiah had to drink. He came to this world to drink his cup that the Father had for him to drink. We drank our cup, and we're still drinking it. And he has a cup for Esau and the Psalm 83 nations. He has a cup for them to drink, for the oppression of his chosen people. They went way overboard from all the murders and rapes and robberies and stuff that they're supposed to commit upon his people. So they have to pay. They have to pay recompense and retribution by drinking the cup that the Most High has for them to drink. And there's no way they can get out of it. No way. Because it's already written. Yah's not a man that he should lie. Okay, so I'll be in closing, 2nd Esdras. I'll be starting at chapter 16. 2nd Esdras. Chapter 16, verse 8 to 16. And, as the cup that these nations will drink continues. 2nd Esdras chapter 16, verse 8 to 16. The mighty Adonai sendeth the plagues, and who is thee that can drive them away? A fire shall go forth from his wrath, and who is he that may quench it? He shall cast lightnings, and who shall not fear? He shall thunder, and who shall not be afraid? Their Adonai shall threaten, and who shall not be utterly beaten to powder at his presence? The earth quake, and the fountains thereof, the sea ariseth up with waves from the deep, and the waves of it are troubled, and the fishes thereof also before their Adonai, and before the glory of his power. For strong is his right hand, that bendeth the bow, his arrows that he shoot are sharp, and shall not miss when they begin to be shot into the ends of the earth. Behold, the plagues are sent, and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. The fire is kindled, and shall not be put out, till it consume the foundation of the earth. Like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer, return not backwards, even so the plagues that shall be sent upon the earth shall not return again. Verse 18, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginnings of famine and great death, the beginning of war, and the powers shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold, famine and plague and tribulation and anguish are sent as a scourge for amendment. But for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. Verse 22 says here, for many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. Okay, closing verse 39 and 40. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it, and on every side. Verse 40 says, O my people, this is his word to his people. O my people, hear my word. Make you ready to the battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. He's saying to us, when these evils that he bring upon these nations on the earth, Esau and these Psalm 83 nations, he's saying to his people, hear my word, make you ready to the battle. And in those evils, when that's going on, be even as the pilgrims upon the earth. Pilgrims are people who ventured throughout the earth and they went unto the holy places. So he's saying to us during this time, for us to gather together in the holy places and pray. And I'll be praying, thanking the Most High for taking vengeance on all those who caused the oppression of his people for so many centuries. That will probably be my prayer, which it is right now. So I hope you got some understanding, family. And this was Esau and you, Psalm 83 nations, prepared to drink your cup. So until next time, may Yah bless you. And I hope to have another message to share by the Sabbath. But we shall see. So until then, shalom.